championship vision. Just one more way the USGA is using the latest in technology to enhance the spectator experience at the US Open.
And speaking of new technology, the director of new media for the USGA, Alex Withers, joins us right now. That's a pretty nice device that you got out here for the fans this week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're pretty happy with it. It's just one of the innovations we're doing this year on usopen.com with our digital side. You mentioned it a lot, Charlie, in your piece, but access is really where we're trying to go with technology. It really does facilitate fans to be able to get more than they've ever had before. We've got a couple of handheld devices out there, a mobile leaderboard and mobile TV device. But on the website, primarily we focused on the live marquee group coverage, 2 a day, morning and an afternoon round that you guys are so well covering, but also more insight and access to the course than we've ever had before. This year, fans are able to look at video walkthroughs with Mike Davis on how do we look at the setup of each hole. What is the inside story on the USGA? It's very important for them to know the real effort and thinking that goes behind creating the national championship.
And that thing was easy enough for Charlie to figure out?
I'd have to maybe give him a few minutes, but it should be pretty intuitive.
Oh, that thing was amazing. The only problem I can figure, you're going to have to issue crash helmets with that thing because you're going to have people walking around like this out on the golf course.
Yeah, that's potentially. So we've eliminated it to 1,500 devices so they can't run into each other, and American Express card holders have got the privilege of getting hold of the device, so we're pretty happy.
And some of the content's on high def in there.
It is, yeah. We're doing some high-def stuff with our friends at ESPN, which we're pretty happy with. And we've got a multiple different camera angles, hole 3, marquee group coverage, and the main broadcast. So the standard and what technology allows us to do now is great. And the effort and the investment the USGA has made on our online side in the last 12 months is tremendous. So
trying to stay a step ahead of technology is a losing battle, it seems, these days. It changes so quickly. But when you envision the next generation, where are we going with this?
Well, I mean, I think, again, it all comes back to access. But what's important is putting the fan first. As you say, sometimes you can try so hard to keep up with technology, you forget the fan.
Right.
And what's really important is you can give them multiple camera angles, but delivering it in a way that they can actually see as value. So giving high-definition marquee group coverage is a really nice way of doing that. They can get to watch Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Adam Scott this afternoon, every shot played. That's really great access. You move to suddenly player cams of every player, it starts to become, I think, a little bit proliferated. So we have to be careful and make sure the fan is getting what the fan can view and really find valuable.
Well, the fact of the matter is, and we'll see it this afternoon, if you want to come out and you want to watch the marquee group, you're only going to be able to watch them on 2 or 3 holes, and that's if you really hoof it. But you can follow them. You can get in a great spot and watch the players come through in front of you, but still know what Tiger and Phil are doing, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it's great, not only for fans following them around, but the fans in the grandstands as well, who are waiting there patiently for play to come through. You know, some of these fans are pretty hardcore in terms of getting there early to see their favorite player, so we want to show them what else is going on around the course.
Well, I think it's really wonderful, and folks have got to be loving it. I mean, what kind of feedback are you getting from the fans?
We're getting a lot of great feedback on site. They love the handheld devices. Actually, we launched a fan feedback program online and on the devices and by mobile phone, so fans can now talk to us live. And we're getting some great feedback on the devices. We've had a lot of people downloading this to their own mobile phones as well as the devices on site. So we're creating a nice little community of fans, and the feedback we've got is awesome, and the site is looking really strong.
Now, production at the workplace might be down this week, but that's okay out there in corporate America.
We couldn't possibly own up to that being the objective, but they're certainly looking pretty good right now.
That's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
They're choosing.
Hang on. Oh, man, that was a foot from disaster there.
And from the bunker, a tough stance for Jeff Ogilvy, and one of the reasons he's 1 under at this point. So a chance. Well, that had real right down the hill to the canyon written all over it, and it stayed up. So here's Justin Rose now in the fairway. Well, it's been great, too, being a part of this whole thing and the webcast and giving options to the fans, too. And the fact that you can watch one of, 5 or 6 different channels with sitting right on the par 3, watch the par 3 the whole time, the 3rd hole, or follow your favorite group, this marquee group. And, of course, Woods and Mickelson and Adam Scott, the afternoon featured group. This one comes up front edge, Charlie.
Well, there's a great example of a guy needing to make a birdie, back hole location, still not being able to fire back to it because he knows that disaster is just a few steps past that flagstick.
And we talked about it a little bit, the fact that golf is one of those games, one of the few games where the average fan, if he or she plays golf, can watch the great players out here and then go emulate them. It's tough to do that in basketball when you get a certain age, or obviously football, whatnot. But the experience you're giving them too is even closer to better experience that as it's going on.
Absolutely, and then to be able to look at each hole and understand how we designed each hole and then set it up. It's, this is where you need to be aiming down the fairway. This is where the best approach shot is in. It really gives them a greater understanding, and the stuff you're doing with the flyovers and the golf track, it just gives them even more insight into how would you tackle the hole, how would you play it. So yeah, we're thrilled, and this is our first year working with IBM as well on the website, and they've been just great to work with, and we're having a blast doing it. So.
Did you get a good experience with that out there?
It was wonderful.
Yeah?
I like being able to check out the blimp camera while you're walking around on the ground. That was really cool. And it's hard sometimes to get where you can see a scoreboard. So you can always know what's going on the golf course. And it really is a great device that makes coming out and being a spectator a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alex, thank you
Pleasure.
so much.
Thank you,
Alex.
guys.
New media
Great
for
to
the
see you both.
USGA,
Cheers.
Alex Withers, and glad to have you along, and thanks for the insight into I was not aware of that before Charlie went out and did that piece, so it's pretty cool.
Well, I'm just
Great
trying to
stuff.
educate
I know,
and
you're
inform
always
not
teaching
only
me
our
something.
viewers, but you as well.
You
Terry.
do. I can't trust all of it, but this one I trust from you, Charlie. All right, back out to the Gulf, and Justin Rose